do you make art at times like these, when the world seems suffused with darkness and so many people and the planet are suffering? I often find myself questioning what I'm doing. Is what I'm doing frivolous? I'm recently back from a trip I took to the south coast of Oregon that I found deeply inspiring. But I found coming back to the studio that it was hard to get started. I felt shut down, doom scrolling through an endless feed of bad news. My art, my quiet space, the one thing that always brought me joy, suddenly started to feel frivolous, pointless even. Maybe you've been there too. That nagging feeling that what you're passionate and excited about is a luxury that we can't afford in a crisis. When my thoughts find their way down this well-trodden path, I turn again to Toni Morrison's inspiring words.
This is the time when artists go to work. Not when it looks sunny, it's when it's hard.
And Morrison goes on to say that while we shouldn't ignore the pain of the world, that we should also not succumb to its malevolence, that art and making art is what makes civilizations heal, and I would argue what heals us. And so I'm finding solace in my studio, and finding solace also in the wild places I visit for my inspiration. In the wild, my feet find the ground again. Strength finds my bones, and I breathe myself back into my body. Here, I find hope again, hope and resilience. Reliving those memories back in the studio, I find my centre. One thing I've learned over the years is you don't have to wait for inspiration to drive you. You can just show up. Show up and make the first marks and the first steps towards works of art, which then evolve and gather their own momentum, taking you to places you didn't know you would go. And so began a new series of drawings and paintings inspired by that deeply dramatic coastline and the south coast of Oregon. The simple act of applying paint, scratching into the surface, wiping a section away, it became a form of mindfulness. Making art can significantly lower cortisol, the body's main stress hormone, and viewing art can have the same effect. My whole world shrank to the space between me and the work. I wasn't thinking about global crises anymore. My focus was on one simple question: what comes next? A lighter colour here, a softer line there. This focused state is incredibly powerful. It doesn't make the world's problems disappear, but it gives you a much needed pause, a place to breathe in the middle of all the noise. Making these works and looking at them afterwards led to a real aha moment. I hadn't escaped the troubled world by making these paintings. I'd built a space to understand my place within it. The point of making art in a troubled world isn't to create pretty distractions. The point is that the act of creation is, in itself, an act of defiance. Art can be an act of joy, of anger, of resistance and resilience. Ultimately, it's a refusal to give in to despair. Working on these paintings, inspired as they are by that beautiful, wild place, it made me realise that art is how we connect to each other, to ourselves, and to the world around us, and with those who've created throughout human history. In a time of destruction, creating something, anything, is a powerful statement that you believe in a future. It's a way of saying, we are still here. And if you found this video useful or interesting, you might like another video that I made where I go into detail about the drawing trip that I took that inspired the paintings that I've shown in this video. I'll link it down below. And I'll leave you with one last final thought. Your art, your voice, your story matters, as does listening and appreciating those of others, now more than ever. I'd love to hear in the comments of the things that you're doing to sustain yourself through this particularly troubling time. And in the meantime, take care, and bye for now.